Hello, friends of Sudoku, and welcome to a hard puzzle by sudokuexchange.com. Let's see how we can crack this puzzle. First of all, there's a couple of 2's blocking down here, and there's a 2 blocking across, so this is a 2. And we might as well continue looking at the 2's. There's a 2 blocking up here, and there's a 2 blocking down here. There's a 2 blocking over here, so one of these is going to be a 2. And over here, we got a 2 blocking up and a 2 blocking over. So a 2 can go in any of these 3 squares. It's always useful to look at blocks of 3 by 3 squares where we have a lot of givens. In this case, for instance, if we look at the 5 blocking over here, the 5 blocking over here, and the 5 blocking down, here is an easy 5 for us. And immediately we should look up and see if these 2 5's now have any ramifications for this chute of 3 columns. And there is a ramification because this 5 blocks up and so does this. And that leaves only 1 square for a 5 in block 2. The next thing I always do is I look at the 2 remaining squares. They have to be an 8 and a 4. And to see if there is any solution to that, I immediately look down and I see this 4 blocking up. So I know that the 8 has got to go here and the 4 here. And now I immediately look at the 4's and the 4 blocks over here, this 4 blocks over here, and these 2 4's block up here. So this is a 4 in column 1. And it doesn't take a genius to look at this 4 blocking over, this 4 blocking over, and this 4 blocking down, making this a 4.
Clever?
It's genius, it really is.
Now we just need 2 4's more to complete all the 4's for the puzzle. This 4 blocks down, this blocks up, this blocks over, so this is a 4, and therefore this square must be the last 4. These 2 squares catch my eye because they're the only 2 empty squares in a column, and I know that they have to be a 6 and an 8. There's a very convenient 6 blocking across here, making this an 8, and this therefore must be a 6. The next thing I do is I look down here and I see that these 2 6's block every square here except for these 2. Now I know that one of these 2 squares must be a 6. And that immediately makes me look at these 4 squares because I need to find a 6 for one of these squares. These 2 6's block across. This 6 blocks across, so a 6 is forced to go into this square here. And now I look right and I see that these 2 6's block, this 6 also blocks, so a 6 must go here. I see these 6's blocking down and therefore a 6 must go here. This is basically how I solve any puzzle. Granted, this puzzle is a hard puzzle, and that means that it is probably going to be solved pretty easily. But it doesn't matter really because this is the method that I use. We have a couple of digits still missing in column 5, and they must be an 8, which I know immediately can't go here because of this 8. So I can plug it in here, and now I can begin thinking about what is missing here. And that would be a 7. These 2 now must be a 1 and a 3, and therefore these 2 must be a 9 and a 7. The 7 blocks across here, so the 9 must go here and the 7 must go here. Now I'm looking at these 2 squares. They must be an 8 and a 3. There is an 8 blocking down here, so this must be a 3 and this must be an 8. the next thing I do is I look at these two squares, only two squares, and they are usually very easy to fill. In this case, there must be a 3 and a 9. And yes, we do have a 3 blocking here. So a 9 goes here and a 3 here. And now I look at these two squares, and they must be a 6 and a 9. I can't solve those, but I know that these two now must be a 7 and an 8. I can't solve those either. So I will leave those on the back burner for now. And now I'm looking at the top row. For the top row, we need to find a 9, 7, and a 5. So there's a 5 blocking up here. Therefore, this must be a 7 or a 9. There's a 7 blocking up here. So this is a 5 or a 9. And that's as far as I can take those digits for the time being. And therefore, I now focus on these 3 empty squares. They must be a 1, 3, and a 5. And there's a 3 and a 1 blocking this square, which therefore must be a 5. And this is now a 1, 3. 3 blocks here, so a 1 must go here and the 3 must go here. Now I'm looking at the 3's. These two 3's block here, so a 3 must go here or here. We still need a 3 for this row though, so a 3 must go here or here. This 3 blocks this square, so the only square that can take a 3 in row 6 is this one here. The next thing I do is I look at these squares here, and they must be a 1, 2, and a 6. So a 6 must go over here, a 2 blocks here. So a 2 must go here or here, and that's as far as I can take this. So I'll have to focus on something else. I want to look at these two squares. They must be a 9 and a 2. And again, I can't do anything about those. So I now focus on these 3 squares. They must be an 8, 7, and a 5. So an 8 and a 7 block this square, which therefore must be a 5. So this must be a 7, 8 pair. There is an 8 already in this block, so the 7 must go here and the 8 here. And now is a good time to revisit these 3 empty squares. I think maybe that will give me something. I need to find a 1, 3, and a 9. There's a 9 blocking here, so a 9 must go here or here. And therefore here or here. And that's all I can do, I think.
I think, therefore I am.
So I need to show a little bit of creativity here. And frankly, I'm not quite sure where to set my hook now. So I'm going to look at these squares here. They must be a 1, 2, 7, and a 9. Here's a 7, must go here or here. There's a 1 here, so one of these must be a 1.
Hey, you're treading water. That's tight.
1, 2, so this is a 7, 9. That's not immediately clear either. These 4 squares must be a 3, 7, 8, and a 9. Here's a 3 and a 9, so this is a 7 or an 8.
You have no idea, do you?
8 and a 7 here, so this is a 3 or a 9. 1, 5, 6, 9 for these squares here. It's a 6 here. There's a 6 here, so a 6 must go here or here. 1, 5, 6, 9. 5, 9, this is a 1, 6. And of course we can do better because there's a 1 blocking over here and there's a 1 blocking up here. So this is a 1.
Thank you. Finally.
Sometimes you just don't see the obvious, or at least I don't see the obvious. 3 squares missing here, namely a 5, 7, and a 9. 5 must go up here somewhere. So this is a 7, 9. Now we have a 1 for the center row here because these two ones block here. So this is a 1 and therefore this must be a 3. This is also a 3. And we now have all the 3s and all the 4s. This square must be a 9. And the 9 blocks down. This 9 blocks over. This therefore is a 9, making this a 9. These now must be a 5 and a 7. The 7 blocks up. So the 5 goes here and the 7 here. And that gives me a 9 for this square. And also, of course, now for this square. This must be the 2, and this square must be the 7. These now must be a 1 and a 2. Let's see. 2 blocks up here, 2 blocks down here. Yes, one of these is a 2 as well. But let's first deal with this empty square because there's no doubt that this now must be a 6. And that gives us a 6 for this square. This one must be a 1, making this a 1 and this a 2. This is also a 2 now. These must be an 8 and a 5. The 5 blocks up, therefore this is an 8 and this is a 5. And these two must be an 8 and a 7. That's it. There was nothing special about this puzzle. It was a hard puzzle according to sudokuexchange.com. And you may have found it hard, but with a little bit of applied logic, I think I have shown that anything is possible with these kinds of puzzles. I hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching and bye for now.